Welcome to our 5 on 5. Please be joined today by Millie Carlton, runs the blog Scorched Wildfires, the New Normal. Hell no. Good to see you.
Right.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, so how did you come to find yourself doing this?
You know, I moved back here to Medford 2.5 years ago. I had been gone since I was 24, and I sold my company and closed it down in Colorado, moved back here to help my mother transition into assisted living. And for the first 2 summers, it was just smoke everywhere. And I was like, this is crazy. And I was raised in this valley, loved the valley, and found myself not even being able to go outside to picnic. And I was like, this is crazy. So I started asking people in the industry, in the fire industry per se, what's going on? And I heard, well, this is our new normal. I was like, well, it's not my new normal. I'm not going to go there. And so I spoke on December 11th in 2016 to the commissioners, along with about 200 other people, about their feelings and thoughts about fire. And when I was done giving my little spiel, a gentleman tapped me on the shoulder when I sat down and said, we need to talk. And from then on, it was just, he introduced me to a lot of folks here in town that were working on smoke. And so it just became a passion.
Interesting. Okay, so much of politics, seems to be divisive, and especially in America today. Have you found this to be a partisan issue?
It is a partisan issue, but I choose to go nonpartisan on this. We all breathe the same air. It doesn't matter what party you belong to. And so we have to come together, and this could be the best catalyst ever for these political parties to come together, because we all breathe the same air, and we cannot have our forests and our air and all those things be a partisan issue. It just can't be. There's too many people. There's, folks that are suffering with asthma. Moms that couldn't let their children go outside, for 8 weeks last summer. There are athletes that can't train. The scope businesses, the wine industry lost $5.5 million last year. So the economy of our city is dependent on clean air. And so we can't have this be a partisan issue. It has to be something where we all come together and come with solutions. So.
Okay, and I know you have a big event this weekend. We'll talk about that when we come back from this commercial break.
Thanks.
Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with Millie Carlton, runs the website Scorched Wildfires, the New Normal. Hell no. All right, so you have an event coming up this weekend. Yes. Obviously, it's about, I guess it's about clean air.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell us, it's here in Medford on Saturday.
Yes, correct. The event starts at the Pear Blossom Park at 10:30. And there at the park, it's going to be very interactive. I'll actually be pulling about 20 folks from the audience to be part of a skit. So it'll be very impromptu. And I'll be the only speaker, because given that I wanted to keep this nonpartisan, I didn't want a politician or someone up there, giving an opinion. I just wanted to be able to give the facts. I think the facts are so critically important in today's world. And so anyway, what we're going to do after that, we'll have a march that'll last about 8 minutes from Pear Blossom Park down to Hawthorne Park. And then there's free ice cream there. We are selling Smokey the Bear t-shirts. There's a massive amount of literature from the Oregon Forestry Institute that is wonderful, that'll help people be educated about what's going on in our forests. It tells everything about the fact that, in the state of Oregon, 64% of the state of Oregon's forest is owned by our government, some branch of our government. And so, but only 8% of that is actually logged. So it's a very interesting dynamic. We just need the facts. And so that's what I'm helping people do, is gather that.
Interesting. Okay, so what do you say to people who worry, a lot of people come to this area, they love it because of the natural beauty around us, and they don't want to, they don't love the smoke, they may also not want to see all the trees cut down.
Absolutely.
Is there a happy medium there? What
there absolutely is. My dad owned a logging company. I grew up in this valley. He owned Pittock Brothers Logging Company. And I was on the job site from the time I was 8 years old until I was, left home. And so I know what pristine forests look like. And I know, my dad taught us conservation. And so the whole clear cutting has obviously changed drastically. There are wonderful laws that are in place that keep the mountains from being decimated by clear cutting. However, there's a certain amount in that law, there's a certain amount of ability to cut down trees. But they need to be replanted in a certain length of time. So we've come so far in the last 35 years in regards to managing our forests and doing it correctly. But what we did is we had passive management for 35 years, and so nothing has been done. But in that process, it sounded kind of like convoluted, but in process, there is really good forestry practices now that we necessarily didn't know 20, 30, 40 years ago. And so things have changed. Things have changed a lot. Some people say, oh my gosh, people are going to go clear cut or they're going to take all the old growth down. That's just not the case. You know, we need to get facts, not just emotion.
Okay, great to meet you. Thanks very much for coming.
you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.